Awesome.
All right,
Wonderful.
so just start by saying your name,
Yes.
what your profession is,
Perfect.
and how you feel.
Awesome. Well, first I'll say I feel great right now, and thank you, sir, for taking the time. But I'm Jordan DeCicco, I'm known as the youngest brother and the founder of Super Coffee. The company name is Key to Life Inc. We make a few different products, but Super Coffee being our main product line. I'm the chief operating officer, but really head of all product development, responsible for getting some new innovation on the market.
We created the world's first super coffee.
Okay.
Our coaches were unhappy because we were falling asleep in class after morning workouts. And our school stores offered only the usual unhealthy bottled coffees and energy drinks. But the three of us refused to put that garbage into our bodies. We thought that there has to be a healthy energy alternative. So in our youngest brother's dorm room, we brewed something better.
And we've created a product that people want because it works, and we have the sales to prove it.
Taste profile is great. I want to commend you on recognizing the shift that's happening in the food and beverage industry today. A lot of the big products on shelves are high sugar, high carbs, high fructose corn syrup. They're really not that good for you.
We're going to be healthier. We're going to be sweet, but relatively low calorie.
So what does that look like, product development?
Yeah, well, basically, we're a challenging brand, and the market is constantly evolving and changing. Ready-to-drink coffee in general is growing rapidly, over 10% year over year. New brands, new flavors, product lines, all different types of things. So we're constantly open to adapting as quickly as possible, and we want to lead with not only great tasting products, but the healthiest possible products. Our mission is positive energy for positive change. That's our purpose. That's why we exist. So we want to have that positive impact on people. We see a lot of brands, especially the category leaders, high sugar, high calories, high carbs. We're the complete opposite, so zero sugar. And how do you make something taste great with zero sugar and keep it all natural? So when we're thinking about innovation, it stays within that realm of what makes it positive energy, what makes super coffee super, right? What makes any product super? So it's kind of looking at the competition, seeing what's out there, and then finding solutions for the problems that we see. And I think it takes a lot of time, but we have a great team to execute.
So rewind to the beginning.
Yeah.
Just from your personal standpoint.
Yeah.
What was your creative? Like, was there a creative aspect to it? Like, did you?
Yeah. I think so. I think my creative take on it was really just problem solving early on. It came from we started the company from a strong desire to make healthier options. Specifically in coffee, but really in energy, and that's why our purpose of positive energy for positive change means so much to us, because there just wasn't options available. So you have this massive problem. It's a $5 billion category and growing quickly, but there's no healthy options, and people want those healthy options. So in terms of thinking creatively and outside the box, it's, again, how can we come up with solutions to these problems that don't deter customers? We want to give them healthier options, but they need to be priced accessibly, and they need to taste great, and they need to be cool, and they need to be relatable. So in terms of creative thinking, we have to be different than what exists. We have to do things better. We have to challenge ourselves and our partners, from our manufacturers to our ingredient suppliers. We have to throw ideas and concepts at them that they're not familiar with. So I think it's a lot of things that kind of come together to make a new, unique product. But in terms of how we think of it as a whole, it's just really solving problems for people.
Okay, so when you're like, okay, it's time for a new flavor, seasonals, it's all this stuff, and you go back to the drawing board,
Yep.
What does that drawing board look like?
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes it's a little bit different by, if it's a new flavor for an existing product line like Super Coffee, like a seasonal, that's just a lot of conversations with our customers. Hey, here's what we have, here's what's working, here's what's not working. We're looking at other brands all the time, and we want to test things out. So that's a little bit easier, a little bit quicker. With some of the seasonal flavors we're launching and some of the new plant-based options we're launching, those aren't tough decisions to make. What gets more difficult is new product lines and new categories. So, we have our creamers now. And this was a big step for us because, the first few years in business, we were only selling ready-to-drink bottled coffee products to customers like ourselves, young, hungry, athletic, looking for healthier options. Now with a broader audience and broader application, we can reach different groups. So for an older customer base, a lot more time and effort goes into it. And it's really talking with our retailer partners, looking at that category data, saying, hey, like, does a creamer make sense for us right now? If so, what are the problems we're going to face? And it happened to be the same thing. All the creamers out there, high sugar, artificial ingredients, very low quality, and it's a massive market and still growing. So, when we look to create a new product line away from super coffee, it goes back to that problem-solving ideation, and then executing with our partners at a really high level.
And then again, one big thing that we're seeing more in the natural channel, but also in the food service side, is sustainability. Super Creamer is the only packaging in the world that's 100% compostable. That's made from traceable paper, which we're proud of it, because all of our food service partners come to us looking for these types of options. And you look at Coffee Mate ID, they're all plastic, all garbage that people are moving away from. So we're proud of that as well.
The research process seems like a long, time-consuming process. And you gotta know where to look and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where does that fit into your daily schedule?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a part of my everyday. Being in the business and traveling to different parts of the country and getting constant data, analyzing data, getting feedback, seeing our results, talking to our partners. So it kind of comes in bits and pieces. And that's our job, is really to take the bits and pieces that are coming from, sales data and, just being in the market and getting customer feedback. So you're right, it is a long process, but when you're constantly looking and constantly aware and are constantly taking in bits and pieces of information, you can start to kind of decipher that, and you bring that back to the team and say, hey, like, here's what we're seeing on the sales side, here's what competitors are doing, here's what I heard from this group of customer, these insights here from customers, and these retailers are asking for something specific. So when you can gather all that information quickly, you're always constantly testing anyway. So we try to stay ahead of that by making assumptions, right? You can assume what people might like from the past, looking at the past, and then also by these bits and pieces of information. So if we can stay ahead of it, again, not every product's going to be a hit, but to our point, our philosophy, we would rather try something, see if it works, improve it, and go from there, or try something, and if it doesn't work, hey, take it off the shelf, save it for later.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you're collecting the data, you have to be sharp, and aside from the coffee, right? Aside from the coffee, how do you stay sharp personally?
Yeah.
Do you wake up early? Do you eat healthy? What do you do?
Yeah, so I think there's like five key things for me, and the reason why I say five is just because I was feeling pretty terrible this morning, and I was thinking to myself, these 5 things, and I haven't really been doing. But one is just having that great diet. We tend to be keto aware, so meaning low carb usually, good fats, decent levels of protein. We're not fully keto at all times, but I just noticed with myself that when I remove carbs from my body, my mind is clearer, I have more energy, I feel better. So that's first, is just diet. 2 is sleep, for sure. A lot of creatives like to stay up late, they like to work different hours of the night. I think early on, that was like me, we were working 15, 20-hour days. It's not really sustainable, so along with good diet, I'm trying to sleep 7 hours per night. And then hydration is key too. So we obviously drink a ton of coffee, but if you're not staying hydrated, you're just gonna feel terrible. So it's definitely staying hydrated. So I'm always checking, making sure I'm getting enough water, enough sleep, and eating right, and then working out for sure. I think that fitness has always been a big part of our lives. So our bodies are so used to it, and our minds are so used to it. If I don't get a workout in on any given day, I'm definitely going to feel down. So those are four things off the top of my head. And then I think the 5th thing is really just collaboration with our team and our people, and just staying connected and staying into it. You can't, again, I know a lot of creatives might sometimes be introverts, and they don't like to communicate with others or work well with others. And I think that's a big mistake and misconception. I think that we've done much better as a company where ideas are coming from all over the place. I'm sharing my ideas more, even if I think they might be a little more radical or risk-taking, and people are then doing the same to me. And then you're getting a lot of ideas from different places, so definitely collaborating. Great communication, people tend to say, is like a great cup of coffee. It's really hard to come by, but it's even harder to sleep after you've had it. So communication is definitely one of those 5 principles. And then anything beyond those 5 simple things of, diet, hydration, working out, sleep, and, just collaboration is extra, but obviously super coffee, right? You add that on top, but because we're in the office early, we leave late, we still work long hours, so we gotta stay sharp, and those are the simple things that you can do.
Yeah, and how many hours a week would you say you work?
Again, we're pretty cognizant of this because we're traveling a lot right now too, but I would say, anywhere from, 65 to 75 hours. So definitely a pretty good amount, but not as crazy as it used to be early on when we were doing every single thing to keep the company alive. And I actually think we're much more efficient, much more productive, and effective in 65 to 75 hours of fully charged work than maybe 85 to 90 hours of, very tired, maybe dazed and confused work. So it gets pretty unhealthy if you're working too much.
Hot coffee? You have the best stand in all New York. You play music every morning. Yes. We walk by it to Equinox at like 4:45 and you're playing music.
Coffee, what size?
Except the coffee mate. Large. Except the coffee mate. No, nothing.
We're gonna have to come back here with some super creamer for that.
Yeah,
That's gotta
just
go.
black.
We'll have to.
But I love the music, brother. Positive energy all day long, brother. Hey Alexa, play Happier. Sound 4.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hey Alexa, play Happier.
Happier by Marshmallow and Bastille on Amazon Music.
I love that it just starts like that.
Yeah. As tough as it goes away.
Alexa, volume 10.
No, it's not good. I love that couch. You said the slouching that you had.
Our goal is 25 million this year. We're gonna get there one day at a time, chip away. We got sales leadership coming in at 8 a.m., 30 minutes here on a Friday morning. It's gonna be our first $1 million month, people. Let's go. Woo! Jimmy Jake.
Selling.
Jimmy Jake aren't amused.
What would be your personal advice to somebody, just anybody chasing or in a creative field? Like what's your key to success personally?
Yeah, it's really finding that.
Or keys.
Yeah. I mean, I can, think of a few, but really just finding your purpose and what you're really passionate about, like that soul why. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Because it is a lot, and it does get tiring, and anything great is going to take time. It's going to take a lot of energy and effort. So just make sure, always check yourself, come back to your purpose and your why. I know that if I am in a 70, 80 hour work week and things aren't going right that week, sales are down, employees are unhappy, we get bad customer feedback, retail partners are having issues, and these things are constantly going on. Fires are always burning. I find myself always going back to, positive energy for positive change, going back to the purpose. So start there, just with your purpose. I think that's definitely the key. And then the second thing is, really believing in yourself. I think that's huge. If you're really passionate about something, you find that thing, that's really unique too. I don't think a lot of people really find what really sets them on fire, especially at a young age. But once you do find that, believe in yourself and dream big. Set the bar very high. When we first started, we said from day one, when I was an 18-year-old kid in my dorm room, that we wanted to be a $1 billion brand and we wanted to do it globally. Obviously very, naive or crazy thing to say, just radical thoughts, but that's what fueled us, is that, hey, if we do that, we're impacting, billions of people. So let's aim for that. So if you find that passion, believe in yourself and dream very big. And then just the last piece of that is there is a piece of reality, right? Like, yes, you have to have determination, you have to get after it, but you have to learn how to deal with reality. And constantly evolve and improve yourself. So, if you know what you're going after, be real with yourself about your weaknesses. I dropped out of school after, 1 year. So, and I never got good grades. So I was never a good learner. And so I had a lot of weaknesses, and I still have a ton of weaknesses that I try to work on myself. So, finding people who are going to give you feedback, but going out, understanding where you're weak, maybe where you're strong too, and just being real with yourself and saying, how can I constantly improve, help myself to also help others. So I just want to improve myself so I can do a better job and ultimately have a bigger impact. So just to kind of, rewind a little bit, because I am talking a ton. Find your passion and your purpose. Really figure out what really sets your soul on fire. Dream big and really believe in yourself. Those are absolute keys. But then be realistic at the same time. So you have those big dreams, but be realistic on getting there. So look yourself in the mirror constantly. What am I weak at? How can we get better? Surround yourself with really, really great people. That's a great resource, because that's how you're going to improve, and just never stop improving and evolving, and keep setting the bar higher and higher. It's going to get harder and harder, but you'll start accomplishing things that you dreamed about that others probably thought you couldn't do.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So then, personal growth.
Yes.
What are some things you do to keep yourself getting better and improving every day?
Yeah, for sure. I think.
Is it reading? Is it
yeah.
podcasts? Is it?
Yeah,
What is it?
it's a combination, right? It's a combination based on my schedule. Definitely implemented some simple, basic rules on reading every day, whether it be, usually at night at the end of the day when I'm kind of unplugged from work, 30 minutes a night, but also being super intentional about the books that I'm reading. I never really loved reading, but now I'm starting to love reading, and I love stories too, just being more of a creative thinker. But if creative thinking is my strength, I kind of want to avoid those things. I kind of want to avoid reading stories and things like that. So I'm being more intentional about reading books on management, how to scale a business, not just create great products, but how to build the company and build the team. So reading books on leadership, management, things that I'm possibly weak at, collaboration, things like that. So that's just, some reading principles there. Be super intentional about the books you're reading, because it is time consuming and you want to get the most out of them. And then constantly reaching out for people who have done it before, have that experience in the field that you're in, but also, again, like if I'm reading a book on management, I also want to be talking to great managers and leaders who have a track record of that, because it's going to be a little bit more practical than the book per se. And then also just practicing, right? Practicing those things. So when you're reading those books and talking to those people, you're gathering a lot of great information and principles and practices, but you need to put those things into action. So just remind yourself constantly, maybe have a checklist of, 5 things you want to improve. Read about them, learn from other people on those things, but then actually practice those things, and you'll really start to speed up, that positive feedback loop, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Incredible. So, recommendations. Name some books. What should we check out?
Yeah, I think one of the best books that I always reference for our team that I read that I really love is Principles by Ray Dalio. I think you and I have talked about it in the past. I really like that book because, for those of you who don't know Ray Dalio, he's the founder and he was the CEO of Bridgewater Associates, one of the largest hedge funds in the world, but just a really cool, great thinker, down to earth. He talks about a lot of these principles, and hence the name of the book. But principles on life and work. So just rules that he's learned from reflecting, from feedback he's gotten, and he literally just puts them in a book, talks about them. Great reasoning behind all of the principles. But his principles are phenomenal. We definitely try to implement some of those, like radical truth and transparency and feedback and evolution and things like that. But it also just helps you think about, wait a minute, like I need to develop my own set of principles beyond his that he's given us. Like let's look at internally at what we want to focus on and do.
Who's gonna go first?
I'll go youngest to oldest.
All of our products have healthy fat from MCT oil to healthy fat from coconuts, keto friendly, our bodies burn it for fuel, all natural, organic.
$10 grams of protein per bottle, 0 grams of sugar. Let's go. Wow.
200 milligrams from organic Colombian coffee. No pesticides, clean caffeine, clean energy. Let's go.
Another big topic in these episodes has been like mental health.
Yeah.
Is there any type of active way that you kind of work on your own mental health or stuff like that?
Yep.
Through all the changing and all the learning and all the fast-paced situations.
Yeah, some of the things that I mentioned before, just in terms of like working out and things like that, that definitely helps. But I think one thing that I've implemented about 2 years ago is transcendental meditation. So TM, transcendental meditation is a form of meditation. It's 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon, every day. Sometimes, you only get one, or sometimes you miss. But basically, you have a mantra, you're repeating that mantra, and it really just helps settle your mind, calm your mind, help you be more objective, I think, less emotional. And those are really valuable, I think, just advantages. Like if you can keep calm, help with self-awareness and just self-control in the workplace, but also on the weekends. It's a lot. My brothers and I talk about it a lot, but it is stressful. We were all college athletes, and that we thought that was stressful. But managing a company that's growing 500% year over year, last year we had 8 employees. Now we're over 60. That's just a lot that goes into it, and you need to be on your A game every single day. So meditation, along with eating right, drinking a lot of water, sleeping, all those little things. Meditation's been huge for me, and I definitely recommend transcendental meditation, so check it out.
I think I'm out of questions, but is there anything else that you want to add, like in general, for the creative process as a topic?
Yeah, I just think, maybe some more context for the viewers. Super Coffee started in my dorm room when I was 19. I was a freshman, so 0 experience. I was a basketball player as well, so on full scholarship, so I had a lot on my plate. Really grew up playing basketball. I was not good at school. I have a learning disability. My brothers aren't, too smart, and they're my co-founders. Like, we're not blessed, I guess, like intellectually. But again, some of the principles that we talked about, just finding your purpose and passion, believing in yourself, constantly learning and investing in yourself, and then just being a great servant leader too, I think, to people and wanting to make an impact. Is super possible and it's super feasible. Yes, it takes a lot of time and dedication. This is, I'm 23 now, so it's been 4 years. But we're one of the fastest growing brands in the country, and we're going to continue to push and push and push and keep going. And I think it's cool that I just want to let people know that it's definitely achievable, right? It's not like, again, we're not superheroes or anything like that. So that's really it, just more context. And you can follow us, Drink Super Coffee, on Instagram, drinksupercoffee.com. Definitely follow any of the brothers. You can put links to that, and hit us up if you guys have any questions, or if you want to learn more about the brand. We're always hiring in different markets, full-time, part-time. So if you want to be a part of it and really feel the culture, what we're putting into the business, definitely open to it.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Shout out to Kingston, New York.
Let's go. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man.
That's awesome.
That was great.